Whew. All right. Man, we gotta do this again. I'm gonna go get a haircut, actually. Today is the day where I get a haircut. I don't have to, well, I'm probably still gonna wear these beanies, but I don't have to wear them as much. It's been brought to me about some things pertaining to how I deliver and how it comes across the masses of people who don't know me personally. And because I'm always addressing people that don't really have anything to do with my personality. It just has to deal with my situation. And in that, I've decided and I've dedicated more time to actually showing my personality instead of addressing problems. What do I mean, you ask? If you spend all your time addressing haters, no one will ever get a chance to see who you are and why people hate on you. So, addressing haters is a small percentage of the people in your life, a very, very small percentage. And if you're always addressing them, it seems like your audience is only that small percentage. You show people who you are. You show people that you're filled with love and joy, and people want to gravitate to you, which is honestly more of my natural personality. Instead of me coming up here and being like, man, y'all said I couldn't do this, but I can do it. That's not who I am. And I've been lying to myself and I've been lying to you guys, and it's been disingenuous. And I've been paying the price for it because I'm not able to captivate how I should, how I feel like I should, because I'm spending so much time addressing 1%. I welcome everybody to my page with open arms. I welcome everybody to see the journey in the life of how I grow and develop into who I'm going to become. The haters are going to be over there, and I'm no longer investing any more time into them because me addressing the haters equals a win for them. The haters don't have enough to win by. So me addressing them gives them validation and a win. Something I'm just not going to do anymore. I'm not built for it. I'm here to show people my personality, how funny I can be. I'm here to show people love. That's where my foundation is. And that's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with love. Without love, you, the customer, won't buy tickets to see me perform because if you're a comedian and all you talk about are haters, like you're Cat Williams or somebody, I haven't reached that level of hate yet, where I can run and tell a special. I'm I'm talking about a 1.1.1. That ain't even a number, but negative point zero 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 four people, maybe in the entire world. Like they're nobodies, is what I'm saying. Haters are going to do what they do. That's hate. I can't stop it. I don't need to address it. It is what it is. I've become more comfortable with who I am within my own skin. I've become more comfortable with how I've grown in the 2 years that I've done comedy. It's just me. I no longer compare myself to what this person is doing, what that person is doing, or what this person is doing. I'm putting in the work that I feel like is necessary for me to grow. It's a whole lot of me in it. And before, there was a whole lot of them. So constantly addressing haters honestly has put me in a very negative light, and I don't need to be in. People hate on the fact that I'm trying to be innovative and push myself forward in places that I was once uncomfortable with. Speaking of, and then I have these people that hate on me but won't do the same thing. So why am I addressing them? Why did I spend so much time? You look at the past umpteen videos and you see me addressing haters way more than you see me addressing who I am. So what does that make me? A lover of haters? Really didn't make sense. I don't need to address any haters. They can live rent free wherever their pockets can afford them to be. Me, I'm constantly growing, constantly changing, adapting, molding. And one of the main things that I've noticed is I'm starting to surround myself with like-minded people just by being myself. So when I surround myself with like-minded people, there's no room to address any haters because I'm surrounded by these people that are pushing for me to do good. I've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity present itself just from people who have gotten to know me. And I'm like, why wouldn't I do this for the world? So the world can see who I am. That's that. I wanted to address it because I felt like it was necessary. I needed to address all of my old videos and get understanding and give understanding that that's not me. Thank you for those who did stay and subscribe and have liked videos and who have helped me grow even to this point. But I promise you, moving forward, it's all about me. It's about me. It's about my growth. Haters gonna hate. I don't need to address them up here. We all deal with haters. My goal as an entertainer is to make you forget about negative things that have happened in your day, in your week, in the entire month. You come here to be entertained. That's my goal. Make you forget about things that are troubling you, make you forget about things that are stressing you. That is my job as an entertainer. Entertain me, distract me for a period of time. And sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes it might be a lesson in that entertainment. I do that because I like to learn. I'm a huge fan of Dick Gregory. If you don't know who that comic is, mass comic. I'm a huge fan of Malcolm X. I'm a huge fan of being able to teach people. So what better way to teach people than teaching them while they don't know that they're being taught? Not a formal setting of a classroom or anything like that. This is just an opportunity for you to learn something in joke format. So many jokes that I rest on that actually teach you something. I had a joke talking about how European frogs will change their sex. People didn't know that, but guess what? As soon as I say that joke, they start researching to see if I'm telling the truth. Yes, they changed their sex. Like, don't ask me how I knew this, but there was a video about like Pacquiao saying that the chickens aren't gay. You know what I'm saying? Like that video. And I was like, look, if you gay, all you got to do is say European frogs change their whole sex. So nature can't be wrong about everything. And I was like, yo, that's an argument for all transgenders if you wanted to make that argument. Me personally, I don't care one way or another what anybody does behind closed doors. I don't need my kids to learn about it in school. And that's what I say. But I always use that as a reference. Like, yo, I don't need my kids learning about, like, my kids have to learn about frogs being able to change their gender and be able to reproduce. And I say it with a joke. I was like, that's the only trans that I can honestly recognize. And I say that in a joke, and trans people laugh, straight people laugh. It is what it is. Yo, I'm not a fan of the trans community personally. Well, I don't say that exactly. I mean, like, how do I say it? I say, because I haven't said this joke in probably over a year. I was like, look, I'm not huge or big on like what goes on in the trans community, because I don't say I'm not a big fan, because that sounds horrible. But I say I don't know a lot about what goes on in the trans community. I do, however, watch the Animal Planet enough to know that there are some animals that can be transgender. Yes, this is true. The European frogs. And I ain't in their business either. I just found out about this year, and I'm 36. Oh, I think I was 35, 37 at the time, and I'm 37 years old, which means I don't care about anything reproducing unless it's going to benefit me. European frogs don't benefit me. It's giving you knowledge while also adding a joke, while also just letting you know where my stance is. And then people will be like, yo, you're homophobic. You're homophobic. I'm like, no, I'm not. My grandfather was the gayest man I had ever met in my life, gayer than Little Richie, during a time where it wasn't popular to be gay, or it wasn't cool to be gay. It was one of the most painful things that could have cost him his life. So when I hear all these gay people talk about how brave they are for coming out, and I'd be like, yo, I don't respect it. I talk about that all the time. I'm like, look, I don't respect it. My grandfather grew up in the 30s. He was adopted by a white family in which the white father went and raped my grandfather every opportunity that he got. My grandfather then, in order to leave the situation, married a woman to get out of the situation, and the woman just so happened to be less melanated. really rough time for him. That's the bravest man that I know. The bravest man. And give a damn what anybody says, because he's one of the men that actually raised me. Never put a hand on me. Never tried to any of that. Nothing. The most protective man I've ever met. And he definitely protected my innocence. As a youth growing up, definitely protected my innocence. And ain't nobody like him. And the jokes that I have about him come from a place of love and come from a teachable moment. I just started talking about him more than I talk about my dad, because I see the pain that it causes throughout my entire family. Those jokes come at a different time, but it's still real. Like, to have a father who fell from grace and was a pastor, who then turned and decided that his way of life was better than the way of life that was provided. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. It's my truth. It's my story, and this is how I heal. My grandfather he told me one day, him and I sat down for 4 hours. We talked about everything that he'd gone through. He talked about how my grandmother had a man in the bed, and he was just banging on the door, and he was out there crying because he went to Tennessee, and he came home and the man was in bed with my grandma. And my grandfather said he never touched her again. And my grandmother had 3 kids after that. And the younger 2 kids know who their father is. My father doesn't know who his father is. That's one of the most heartbreaking things that I think caused him to go down the path that he went down. Stories have been said about how my father was physically beaten, abused. Nobody protected him. And even now, nobody's protecting him. So it went from, as I got older, I directed my pain differently. It went from, I can't stand this dude, I can't stand this dude, to I want to understand this dude. I want to understand the man. I want to understand how he became what he became. And it's all written. One day my dad went to go see my grandfather, and this is when he found out that he went to go see my grandfather. My grandfather was in the bed with another man. My father, who suffered from beatings, who suffered from, to this day, I don't feel like his mother was a good mother to him. Who didn't have that love. He didn't have the right guidance. So he started to abuse substances. My dad was a hell of a basketball player. He never taught me. And I always resented him for that. I'm like, look, I'm athletic enough to do it. Teach me your way. Because my dad made it to the elite level. He was in a Division II school in Tennessee. That's why we moved up there, playing basketball. I got pictures of my dad with the S curl dunking. My dad was good. And it's just you. Instead of blaming him for his addiction, I took more time to understanding him. And you know, here recently I decided I'm not about to bash you. I'm not about to bash you. I'm not about to. It was tough for everybody to have to live through that during that time. I suffered a whole lot of beatings from him because he knew no other way to discipline anybody. And I can't be mad at him for that. I cannot be mad at him for that. I'm always going to hold it against him. You know what I'm saying? But, well, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say I always hold it against him, but I'll never be able to forget it. But at the same time, as I get older, as I see how my life is unfolding, as my heart had gotten softer and I'm able to understand the world and how it causes you to go astray from where you've been. Because he was a pastor. My father was a pastor. My father would preach so much. And this is why you got to watch what you do around your kids. He would preach, and I wouldn't be listening because I was a kid, but I'd be listening. And I would go home, and me and my sister would have church. I'd go in the closet, sneak my mama's shoes, let my sister wear them, and I'd start preaching. And I could preach his sermon at, I want to say 5, 6 years old, because we weren't in school yet. I wasn't in kindergarten or nothing. He was at home watching us, but he would sleep all day. So I could recite his whole sermon. My sister would just start shouting in church. That's the dad that I had at a point in time. And to be honest with you, that's the dad that I want to remember. Not this one that's fallen from grace. I want to remember the one with the S curl. You know, he was in my life. My mom never left him, no matter what. My mother never left him, and he was there, presence, but he was never there like emotional support. Like he never. I can't remember a single lesson that my dad ever taught me, but he was there. I can't remember a time where he did anything to engage with me, but he was there. And sometimes that's probably worse than having a dad leave you, because at least I don't look forward to, hey, can you help me with this? Nah, I'm tired. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. And that's part of the reason on why I started to invest more into friends, because they had more value than family. My family, like to this day, I hardly talk to my brothers and my sisters. A phone call is always there, but never talk to them. And I see how other people engage with their family, and I don't have that. And that sucks. To a large degree, it sucks, because it's like my sister is literally 12 miles away from me. My brother is a phone call away. Today is his birthday, actually. I'm going to have to call him in a minute. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks that I didn't have the male guidance that I needed, but I'm grateful because I had my grandfather. My grandfather is the man who taught me how to be a man. And a gay man taught me how to be a man. So I can never bash anybody for their sexual preferences. I will bash how you put it out, because the world doesn't need to know. Again, a heterosexual male, was raised by a gay man, the bravest gay man that I've ever known in my life. I don't care what nobody says, how publicly anybody else was. You didn't have, if you weren't dealing with it and during Jim Crow, I don't respect your brave decision, because you weren't the one that could be one day end up strange fruit. You weren't the one that had to hide it so well that you couldn't allow anybody to know the secret life that you were living, the codes that they had to use, the body language, it's a whole different world that he had to go through. So when I hear about, oh, I'm proud and Pride Month and my sexuality, and when I hear all of that, I'd be like, man, get out of here, because I know what I had to witness. You ain't had to hear like, we walking through the store, and I'm proud because this is my grandfather. I'm proud of this man that has taken time to help me become a better man. And you hear people, oh, look at that faggot. And you know what he did? Smiled. And if he decided to say something back, like, you don't want to test me. You don't want to test me. I'm with my grandkids, and I'm going to sit here. We used to go to the buffet. He'd sit down and he would just talk and tell us stories. And he'd get on the piano and just play music, and everybody would sing. That's me. That's my life. Yes. Openly admitting that I was raised by a gay man. Like the man that taught me how to be a man was a gay man. The man that showed me etiquette was a gay man. The man that gave me advice before getting married and asked me, are you sure this is what you're ready for? Because you don't have to do it. Gay man that I love more than any man I've ever loved in this world. Nurturing, caring, like I said, protective, showed me how to protect. So when all these women sit here and they see me like, hey, I'm gonna walk you to your car, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. That was instilled in me by my grandfather, not my father. A gay man that understood how valuable it was to protect those around you, especially the women. Even though he didn't care for them, and to be honest with you, I understand why. All that he had to go through with that woman. And people wonder, like, yo, why do you have such a disdain for our grandmother? I was like, did you ever hear our grandfather's story? Because I did. Did you ever hear how my grandfather built the house with his hands, and our grandmother sold it without compensating him anything? My grandfather died with one leg and $1. Nobody cared about any of that. My uncle got the money that he had when he passed. And rightfully so, he was the only one taking care of him because that was his biological son. That was his son. And nobody took care of him. I wasn't here. And by the time I got back and I went and I saw him, this was probably the most heartbreaking thing that I've ever seen. I went there and I saw him, and he had one leg. And he looked at me and he was confused. He said, "Who is that?" I was like, damn, he doesn't remember me anymore. Someone who he always remembered. Every Saturday, instead of hanging out with my friends, I would go hang out with him. That was painful. I think that was one of the most painful things that I've ever experienced, was seeing someone raise me, raise me up to be a man that he was actually proud of. Make sure that I was doing the right thing. When I had my son and I took my son to him, my oldest son, I took my son to him and he held him, and my son never cried when my grandfather held him. Not one time. My wife at the time loved his spaghetti because he added peppers, and it was good. It wasn't too saucy. It was perfect, and it was consistent every time. And when she had the baby, he was like, "Tell your wife I got her spaghetti. Bring my grandbaby over." Listen, my son cried with me. It took a while for him to get used to me. He cried with his mom. He cried with my mom. But as soon as my grandfather, give me that baby, he sat there and held him, and he's just talking to us. And y'all know, he was a nurse as well. Y'all know y'all need to. And I just be like, it was just that. And my son, small, probably like a week, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know, because we had to go home because she had C-section, so she was hurting inside and all that stuff. And he just held him. He looked down at him. He looked at me. You ready for this? He just was special. He made us call him Grandpapa. I don't know why, but I ain't want to do it when I got older. But he was like, "Yo, don't. I'm not your granddad. I'm Grandpapa." Yeah, Grandpapa. That's what he wanted. That's what we called him. He made. I mean, honestly, when my son started eating table food, that's what he had. My grandfather's spaghetti. My grandfather's spaghetti. Damn. First thing he had. I think we might have given him like mashed potatoes, but like he was just. You look at my son now, he can eat, but yeah, man, that was a time. I love it, man. I love just having an opportunity to get to know a man like that. Being raised by a man of that caliber definitely helped me with my development. But that's been a little bit about me. And if you want to hear more stories, more events that are currently going on, more shows that I have in the future, come on back. It's getting close to that time of the month, man. You can see this tree develop behind me. So in the meantime, y'all take it easy. It's been my time. I'm going to get a cut today because I got to look good. I got the casino. Yeah, y'all take it easy, man. Much love.